Good afternoon and welcome to the final installment of the Appalachian Weekly News for the spring 2023 semester. Live from the Beasley Media Complex, I'm Johnny Nordello.
And I'm Noah Cornelius. And yes, that's right, Johnny. It will be hard to say goodbye this semester, but we still have a show to do, so let's get right into it. And speaking of getting right into it, our very own Jalen Sturdivant joins us live right now from St. Luke's Episcopal Church to talk about the nonprofit organization known as Immigrant Justice Coalition. Jalen?
Thanks, Noah. I'm currently right outside of St. Luke's Episcopal Church, where the nonprofit organization known as the Immigrant Justice Coalition meets here in order to carry on their mission and have their general body meetings. I had the opportunity to speak with intern Sandra Pardo, who spoke more about what advocacy looks like and the work that they're doing in order to build communities. Let's take a look. One nonprofit is making strides towards providing equity for immigration-affected communities. Let's take a look.
Throughout the 2022-23 academic year, I've been interning with the Immigrant Justice Coalition here in Watauga County. And our mission is to seek empowerment and achieving cultural exchange and social justice and equity through, these cultural events that we host, educational resources, advocacy, and visibility for our immigration affected and migrant communities here in the high country.
Sandra then spoke more about why the advocacy work that the nonprofit does is important to the community here.
I think it's really important to highlight the advocacy and the networking that has already happened and continues to grow here in North Carolina. And to see that population growing here in the Carolinas, just the most recent census showed that we make up 10.8% of North Carolina population, including immigrants and immigration-affected individuals. I think really shows why it's important to be able to amplify resources and create organizations and continue to really highlight visibility for certain organizations, especially ones in rural areas like Watauga County, Avery County, and other counties in the high country and in other rural areas of North Carolina. And so IJC really is able to showcase what it means to really come up off the grassroots and be a mutual aid organization that once started as an NAACP chapter, up till now, just a couple months ago, being approved as a 501c3 nonprofit organization. So, we're doing really great strides, and the work is not over yet.
As the work continues, in order to learn more about the Immigrant Justice Coalition, follow their Instagram at IJC Boone NC. To learn more about ways to support the nonprofit, be sure to visit their Instagram at IJC Boone NC. For the Appalachian Weekly News, I'm Jalen Sturdivant. Back to you all in studio.
Thank you, Jalen. But for those of you coming back to Boone in the fall, you'll be surprised to see several new restaurants opening up. Phys Ed is a new bar opening across from Footsloggers on Howard Street. Palm Berries is a restaurant specializing in acai bowls and smoothies opening on Blowing Rock Road in between the Domino's Pizza and Vicious Biscuit. Betty's Biscuit is opening a location on King Street. And finally, South End Brewing will open in May where the popular bar Ransom used to be. Make sure to go try all the new places opening up in Boone in the fall.
And cup-crazed fever has ended in Boone. The bakery is moving to Blowing Rock after being open less than 2 years, adding to the list of Boone restaurants that have either moved or closed down recently. More details are yet to come, but Cup Crazed is still taking orders over the phone and via email. For more information, you can visit their Facebook page.
If you're looking for something fun to do this Saturday, make sure to stop by NerdCon. This is a free one-day con provided by Geek Guild, a club on campus. They have panels that everybody can enjoy, like exploring the K-pop world and learning the basics of Dungeons & Dragons. The event will also have vendors, a cosplay contest, a game room, and much more. NerdCon will take place at the Plemmon Student Union from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., so make sure not to miss it.
In an emergency situation, we all would grab our phones and dial 911. But with so much going on, the average citizen may never think about the person who ends up taking the call. Our reporter, Josh Hemphill, has more.
Though you may see and hear the sounds of sirens, little is said about the people operating them. I talked to Conrad Weaver, director of PTSD 911, a short film about the everyday struggles of first responders.
So my name is Conrad Weaver. I'm the director and producer of the PTSD 911 documentary. Yeah, so PTSD 911 is a story about first responders. And as we know, every community in America, every community in the world nearly has people who help others. And so the film tells that story. It tells the story of three people, a firefighter, a police officer, and a dispatcher, who took a journey into that business, into that industry to help others, and now need help themselves. And spending time with first responders has been amazing. These folks all want to help. They're passionate about helping others. And we as citizens need to support them. We need to do everything we can, whether it's to help our cities and our governments provide more resources so that they can get the mental health help that they need. So many communities don't have those kind of resources for their first responders, and consequently, first responders don't know where to go.
The next time you see a first responder, be sure to give them your thanks. You never know what they're going through. Joshua Hemphill, Appalachian Weekly News.
On Wednesday, students were able to relieve the pressures of exam season thanks to the Department of Transfer Admissions and Engagement. Attendees were met with Mario Kart, tea, and trail mix stations, and various support groups around campus who also attended the event. Therapy dogs were also brought in for all to enjoy.
Draba will host their final vintage market of the semester on May 4th, Reading Day, at Appalachian Mountain Brewery. This is the final event for Draba until school starts back up again in the fall. For more information, you can visit Draba on Instagram at draba.boone. For vendors, click the link in draba.boone's Instagram bio for more information. Graduation season is fast approaching, which means many passionate Mountaineer fans have to bid farewell to their beloved student section. But there's one member of the Mountaineer Mafia who, despite being one of the most recognized figures at games, has remained anonymous for 3 straight years. Who is Nearsmello? Well, you're about to find out.
The best part about this whole thing is the smile that comes across people's faces when I walk by, wave, give them a high five, especially the younger ones. And that's why I've been able to do it for so long and had the passion to continue to do it.
This is Nearsmello, a play on the popular DJ Marshmello. He is also a DJ, and he's also Yosef's best friend and a beloved member of the App State student body, especially at App State athletic events. However, not many people know about the lovable character's story.
Well, it started back in 2020 when we had COVID, and they did a Halloween-themed football game. They had everybody just wear the costumes. And I'm a big Marshmello fan, so I had the head. I wore the costume, and there was a big hit to the students. So then in 2021, I took it to a soccer game. I found this coat at Walmart, took it to a soccer game. It became a huge hit. I put a title to it, Nearsmello, and then showed up to the Duke's Mayo Classic, and there was an even bigger hit, and it just took off from there.
For the past 3 years, Nearsmello has been spotted at nearly every athletic event, with many seizing the opportunity to interact with the iconic figure.
It's just a humbling feeling, and the best part is I've had classes with some of the athletes, people I see at games. It's hilarious. I'll hear people talk about it, and I'm just sitting there like, yeah, I know a thing or two about that.
However, despite the character's incredible run, there was always one thing that loomed: graduation. And that time has finally come. But Nearsmello has one last surprise to share before he goes.
I was back and forth. I thought about passing it on to somebody else, but, I looked, and there was just nobody I could find that I felt had the same passion. I thought about just letting it kind of retire and die out quietly and leave it at that. And I thought option 3 is to do a face reveal, and I can just keep bringing them back in the future, have fun with it. And so I decided, because so many people have asked, now that I'm graduating, it's let's let people see who's been behind the mask for the last 3 years.
And he did just that exclusively for the Appalachian Weekly News.
No way!
So I'm Smith McNeil. I am a history multidisciplinary major here at App State University, graduating this May. Nearsmello has been kind of my favorite icon, pet, whatever you want to call it. It's been a pleasure to be a part for the last 3 years and be a part of App State Athletics.
So whether you know him as Smith McNeil or Nearsmello, one thing is for sure: he left his mark on App State. Noah Cornelius, Appalachian Weekly News.
The annual music festival, Merle Fest, is back and happening this weekend in Wilkesboro. The lineup includes the Abbott Brothers, Maren Morris, Nickel Creek, and many others. There will be a variety of food and clothing vendors for everybody's taste. Tickets are on sale now, and for more information and to purchase tickets, you can visit merlefest.org. Boone regulars know all about Watauga Humane Society, but what they may not know are the stories of the animals they rescue and try to find homes for. There's one animal that has been waiting for his home longer than any other, Smokey. Our correspondent Hayden Autry has a story.
I'm Hayden Autry, and I'm here at the Watauga Humane Society, where I got the opportunity to love on, play with, and get to know a dog named Smokey. Smokey is a dog that's been here the longest at the Watauga Humane Society, and he really just wants an opportunity to be loved and find his forever home. This is Smokey, a 10-year-old mixed breed dog who's been at the Watauga Humane Society since August of 2019. He has been described as a big couch potato that just wants to lay around and be loved on all day. Smokey's journey while at Watauga Humane Society has not been an easy one. He was originally brought to the society in 2019 and has since been adopted and returned twice and has been through multiple foster homes. However, the Watauga Humane Society does everything that they can to make sure these dogs are happy and comfortable in the time they spend at the society. I sat down with kennel lead Jacob to hear more about what the society does for these animals.
For us, when it comes to dogs like Smokey, one of the things we try to do is give them the most possible love we can while they're here. I put a lot into my job, and I would feel very comfortable saying that everybody here puts a lot into their job. Everybody here has animals of their own, but I can tell you that they also treat all of these animals like they are their own.
Smokey is still looking for his forever home, as well as many other dogs, cats, and critters. It is always a great time to adopt. For more information on all the animals up for adoption here at the Watauga Humane Society, you can visit their website and go to Adoptable Pets. I'm Hayden Autry, Appalachian Weekly News.
Girls on the Run is an organization designed to inspire girls to find their inner strength. 3rd through 8th grade girls participate in a 10-week program that allows them to develop essential skills, culminating in a celebratory 5K event. The next event for Girls on the Run is a 5K on May 7th, 2023. To get involved with Girls on the Run, you can visit ihhs.appstate.edu/outreach/girlsrunhighcountry. Coming up next, the sports segment, the final sports segment of the semester, hosted by Ben Gozi.
But before that, Judson May joins us live from the long-awaited track and field facility. Judson, is the weather cooperating?
Thanks, Jonia. It's the perfect situation here for the App State track and field team as the rain has crept away and the sun is shining brightly. We'll have more on the event after the break.
Welcome back to Appalachian Weekly News. I'm Ben Gosi. Let's get right into sports. For years, the App State track and field team has never had their own outdoor facility. Today, all that changes. We now go live to Judson Mabe, who joins us from the news facility. Judson, what can you say?
In what was expected to be a very dreary and rainy day in Boone, it has actually turned out to be quite the opposite. Taking place behind me are the javelin and hammer throwing events for both the men's and women's teams. Over 41 teams made the travel to the high country today for the grand opening of the Randy Marion Track and Field facility. Let's now take a more detailed look at one of App State's newest projects.
The wait is finally over for the Mountaineer Track and Field team. After 2 years of construction efforts, the university's first outdoor track facility is all set to host the App State Open, concluding the regular season for both the men's and women's teams. This brand new facility is just one of 3 projects expected to join the Appalachian 105 lot. Construction is currently underway for a new softball facility and outdoor tennis courts as well. Construction on these 2 facilities is expected to be complete in July later this year. Today's App State Open is a historic one for the Mountaineers, as it will be the first outdoor event hosted by App State since 2018. In the past, the team has used Kid Brewer Stadium and other fields nearby for practices and meets. I got to speak with head coach McLean for his thoughts on the team finally having a facility to themselves.
We have our own facility. Everything's brand spanking new. You know, we got a world championship throws cage, pole vault pit. You know, we went from like nothing to almost grand for us. Just having those things and having your own facility, you got to take advantage of those.
Events are expected to continue through 1 o'clock today, followed by a ribbon-cutting ceremony at 4 p.m. We'll get back on track tomorrow at 10 a.m. with events lasting through 3:30. There will be a live DJ in attendance as well as food trucks. So if you want to come out and support your Mountaineers, tomorrow's the day to do it. That's all we have from here. Back to you in the studio, Ben.
Thanks, Judson. The NFL draft kicked off Thursday night with the Carolina Panthers selecting former Alabama quarterback Bryce Young with the first overall pick. The last Panther being selected this high being Cameron Newton. After a very active offseason, the Panthers now look forward to OTAs and spring training, where fans will get to see their franchise quarterback for the first time. The Mountaineers are also hopeful to have success in the NFL draft, trying to extend their 4-year streak of having a player drafted in the NFL. DeMarco Jackson was the last Mountaineer drafted, being selected in the 5th round by the New Orleans Saints. Now, after impressive combines and pro days, edge rusher Nick Hampton, tackle off Anderson Hardy, and running back Cameron Peoples, among others, are hopeful to have their names called tonight or Saturday as the NFL draft continues. Softball season is well underway for our Lady Mountaineers, but one player is playing for more than wins and statistics. Noah Cornelius has a story.
It's spring in the high country, which also means that it's time for App State softball. They're well into their season, but these girls give their all game in and game out, not just for App State, but for their squad. And they also bring their own unique qualities to the table, whether it's play style or personality. And speaking of personality, there's one player that's more bubbly than most, and she has all the reason to be. Because her story is one of resilience, determination, and triumph, and not many people know about it. But it's not on the softball field. In fact, it's off of it, because she is a childhood cancer survivor. Last weekend, the Appalachian State Mountaineer softball team took on a conference foe in Georgia State in the 3rd game of a best-of-3 series. They would go on to lose this game, but the Mountaineers kept fighting even when things seemed bleak. As college athletes, these girls are no strangers to a hard-fought win, but that phrase takes on a different meaning for pitcher Sejal Neese.
Well, I was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia on May 27, 2006. I battled cancer for 2.5, 3 years, and I finished up that battle when I was 5. So I've been in remission for a long time, but I feel like that's just something that no one really knows about me. Obviously, when you see me play, I don't think everyone would be like, oh, like she's had cancer. So.
Now a sophomore at App, Sejal is one of the hardest working players on a gritty Mountaineer squad. She pitches, and pitches, and pitches. But while her story is unique, there's another player on the team who knows what it's like to see someone go through a cancer battle. Outfielder Kate Houston. Her mother went through one.
Definitely a hard situation, no matter your age, and it definitely affects you in the long run too. So it's just incredible to see Sejal come out here and just give her all every day, no matter what. And really it's a part of her story, but she doesn't really focus on it as much, and she, just does her job for her team every day. So it's really, really cool to see.
And her teammates don't focus on her story either. They recognize it, but they view Sejal as more than a story. She's a friend, sister, and a fierce competitor.
the girls on my team are like sisters. The coaches are amazing. You know, everyone's just so awesome here, and this is definitely a second home for me. It's the family mentality for sure, and you know, we all have each other's backs, and yeah, I mean, being a Mountaineer is really special.
So now that you know Sagel's story, know that she's adding on to it one pitch at a time. Noah Cornelius, Appalachian Weekly News.
App State tennis is in the Sun Belt playoffs, advanced to the quarterfinals after defeating Georgia State in a swift 4-1 victory. The Mountaineers came into the tournament ranked 5th and now advanced to the tournament's quarterfinal, where they face 4th-ranked Georgia Southern. This is the second time App State has advanced past the first round of the Sun Belt tournament since joining the league in 2014, with the 2018 squad defeating Texas State in the first round before a tough second-round loss to Georgia State. The Mountaineers hope to change their fortunes around when they face off against Georgia Southern today. Mountaineers women golf announced the leadership change with the longtime head coach Heather Brown leaving the program, announced by athletic director Doug Dillon on Wednesday. Brown had led the Mountaineers for the past 15 years, leading the Mountaineers to 20 team victories and oversaw 21 individual titles from 10 combined golfers. The Mountaineers struggled throughout the year, finishing dead last in the Sun Belt Championships. App State will now begin the search for their next leader for their golf program, hoping to lead their young recruits in a new direction. Mountaineer baseball hopes to stay in the win column this weekend as App State returns home to face James Madison. This is the first time the teams will battle Sun Belt opponents, coming after the Mountaineers' midweek contest between number 2 Wake Forest was canceled due to Keeter Stadium having unplayable field conditions. Opening the series will be on Friday with first pitch expected at 6 p.m. That's all from sports this week. John and Noah, back to y'all.
Thank you, Ben. For many of our staff, they aren't just saying goodbye to the Appalachian Weekly News for the semester, they're saying goodbye to the Appalachian State University to graduate and go on to the next chapters of our lives.
And that's right, Johnny. After 4 long years of work and getting through a pandemic, this is a tribute to the seniors of AWN. Shannon Pendleton has it all.
As the spring 2023 semester comes to an end, so does the time of many of the seniors on the Appalachian Weekly News. Out of the 11 people on the show, 9 of them are graduating. Each one is planning to go their own way in a few short weeks to pursue their dreams. My name is Shannon Pendleton, and I have been working with AWN for 3 years. I plan to continue my career as a reporter after I graduate. I am sharing one of my favorite memories from working on the show. My favorite memory of being on the show is when I was doing a live shot with Ben, and it was pouring down rain, and then the internet went out, so we were just outside waiting for everything to load back up for 2 hours, and we just talked a lot and got closer, and then we got donuts after. Jalen Sturdivant has been working with App TV for 2 years. He is an anchor and a producer of AWN, and is the producer of Connected Cultures. After graduation, Jalen is planning on working as either a reporter or a producer. He talks about one thing he learned from working with AWN.
One thing that I've learned from working on the show is definitely that you have to be open to trying different things and working with different people than you have before, and especially stepping outside of your own perspective, especially with the type of work that news as an industry requires of you. Especially getting involved with the community and engaging with the community and being the person that looks for those stories and trying to provide that platform for other people that don't have that voice.
Johnnia Nordello is an anchor and reporter on the Appalachian Weekly News and also the anchor and producer of Buenos Dias Boone. Johnnia is planning on working as a reporter or an anchor after college. She talks about what she's most excited for after graduating.
I think I'm most excited for just the next step. I've been a student for all my life, so I think that just going into the field that I have been studying for this whole time, I think that that's what I'm most excited for. And I'm excited to meet the people and just continue to learn, but in a different way.
Josh is an anchor with AWN and has also worked on other shows on App TV like Pixel Peak and The A-Game. After graduating, he is planning on getting a job as a reporter or a videographer. Josh shares what his favorite part about being on the show is.
My favorite part of being on the show probably would be just the camaraderie, having to, come as a unit, come as a team, and have to fix stuff and figure things out on the fly. A lot of shows didn't go right when it turns to production and, technology, so it was nice to work together and try to figure stuff out, without having to worry about somebody else or another teacher to help us out.
Hayden is also an anchor on AWN, and after college, she is moving to Colorado to work as an event client relations assistant. She talks about her favorite memory of the show.
My favorite memory from AWN this semester was after doing a live shot with Ben at the baseball stadium. We actually got to run the bases afterwards, which was really fun So it was really nice after working really hard on our live shot and making sure it all looked good to just play around a little bit and have some fun.
Ben is a sports reporter and works with the campus newspaper, The Appalachian. He is planning on continuing his journey of being a journalist after college. He talks about something he has learned from working on the show.
I've learned that it takes a village, you know. There's a lot of things that like you might do that like you couldn't do necessarily like by yourself, filming live shots, stuff like that. So it definitely takes a lot of people, and sometimes even story ideas. I remember Johnny came up with Betty's Biscuits. I had the opportunity of doing it. Turned out to be one of my favorite stories I've done all year. So just definitely takes a group of people to do everything that we do.
Next, we have one of the main producers of our show, McKinnon McDermott. He has been working with App TV for 2 years. He is one of our producers and the director of Buenos Dias Boone. After school, he wants to work as a film director. McKinnon talks about what he is most excited for after college.
Well, the thing I'm most excited for after graduation is to feel the sand between my toes and the wind between my hair.
Two people who are very important to AWN but are not seen in front of the camera are our directors, Carolina and Matthew. Carolina is planning to work as a technical director or an editor, and Matthew is planning to work as a sports broadcaster. They talk about their favorite part of being behind the scenes.
I like working with all the equipment and just like learning new ways to like troubleshoot stuff. I know a lot of things like kind of happen behind the scenes that can, you know, make or break the show. So I feel like learning how to fix those things when problems arise are really interesting and fun.
I think for me it's kind of that controlled chaos of trying to get everything figured out an hour before showtime, and you know, kind of running around making sure we've got all the media in, we're getting good rehearsals in. So I really like that adrenaline rush of when we're prepping for a show and then when we go live.
We have all enjoyed our time working together and being a part of this on-campus newscast. Class of 2023, signing out.
I've thoroughly enjoyed bringing you the best and breaking news from around the high country and beyond, but now it is time for us to say goodbye.
But before we go, we want to add one last goodbye, this time to our amazing professor, Jim Newman, for all of his work and dedication to the Appalachian Weekly News. Thank you for everything, Jim. You will be sorely missed.
And that will do it for us on the final edition of the Appalachian Weekly News for the 2023 spring semester. I'm Johnny Nordello.
And I'm Noah Cornelius. Until next time. Oh, but for me, I'm coming back.